evening, Internet, and as always, I hope this finds you well. Time for the second of our guitar videos. Having discovered which bit of the guitar is which and what bit of the guitar is what, and established a frame of reference where I can tell you to put your third finger on the 5th fret of the G, and you will now know what the third finger is, what the fret is, which one the 5th is, and what string the G is. It's now time to start making a little bit of noise. Okay, we're going to start with a question that one of my students asked me many years ago now, which is what makes music music and not just noise? And this got me thinking. This was rather a good question, because very often we do get consumed in minutiae of how we go about performing music, to never take the step back and think about what we are actually trying to achieve, or we're actually trying to accomplish. So with that in mind, what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to start a little rhythmic exercise, because we came to the conclusion it was in fact rhythm that made music music. You could have a bunch of notes all play together, but all random like that. There's nothing connecting them, there's nothing bringing them together, it's just noise. Conversely, you would have just one note and a rhythm behind it. You've got something definitely musical. It's not fantastic, you're not going to win a Grammy from it, but it's clearly musical. So with that in mind, let's start by putting a little bit of rhythm on, a little metronome built in here. There we go. Metronome apps are widely available for all types of phones, and you can, the one I've got here is just a free one, so there's no need to go and lash out any money on one of these things. So first off, tap your foot to it. I don't have a camera on the foot, but the reason I'm saying tap your foot to it is because tapping the foot is a natural instinct. You've been tapping your foot to music since long before you even thought about picking up an instrument. So it's just ingrained in there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to just try clapping that rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what this is doing is just cementing an idea in the mind of what the sound is that you're trying to achieve before we start trying to produce it. So, having got the rhythm clapped, now let's try playing it. And we're going to go across the open string, so fret hand isn't going to be used for this. I'm just going to play, and I'm starting on the open low E string. That's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you've done that for a little bit, the next step is to take that across each string. So the next one is the A. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Followed by the D. 2, 3, 4. Down to the B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finally onto the high E. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now you're going to wind up doing that a fair few times over, and don't worry too much about that. That's everyone. You will be convinced that your metronome is possessed. My first metronome still bears the scars of where I'd thrown it across the room in a blind rage many, many, many times over, because I was convinced it was speeding up and slowing down just to throw me out. It wasn't. It was teaching me. And yours will do the exact same. So be aware of that. It's perfectly normal. It's all part of the learning curve. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of simple little coordination exercises. And this is just to get the fret hand, fingers, and the pick hand synchronized together, working together, so we can actually physically, mechanically play the guitar, create sounds from it. And we're going to start with a little exercise called the spider. So we're going to go across the low E string here, and we're going to use the index finger for the first fret. And when I do a close-up on this, you'll notice that my fret is not my finger, excuse me, my finger is not actually on the fret like that. It's just up close behind it, and that's where you're going to get the clearest sound. That's where the note will be most in tune. I'm going to use my middle finger for the second fret. The third finger will take care of the third fret, and the little finger will take care of the fourth fret. And as you can hear, this is how we get different notes out of the guitar. So we'll start by just going across the low E string. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're happy with that, we'll take that pattern onto the A, onto the D, onto the G, onto the B, and then finally onto the high E. Now don't forget, if you need to pause me at any point to go over these, that's absolutely fine. I will not be taking that personally. It's far better to take these ideas slowly, get them clean and clear and accurate, because you can always build the speed on top of the accuracy. But it's very, very difficult to build accuracy on top of speed. So once we come all the way up, we're going to turn the pattern around and play backwards, going 4, 3, 2, 1. Now this will most likely feel weird. Your little finger is weak, it is lazy, and that's because you largely don't do anything with it during the normal course of the day. I've been doing this a while now, and the only real use for the little finger outside of playing an instrument that I've been given, that at least I'm able to repeat on YouTube, are sign language, touch typing, and apparently if you're into playing basketball, you can use it to spin the basketball. So there you go. But for the most part, it just doesn't get used. So that connection and that neural pathway between brain to little finger, well, if you think of the pathway between the brain and the first and second fingers as being like sort of a recently opened brand new motorway, the pathway from the brain to the little finger is a sort of dark, dusty, overgrown footpath with thorns and everything and landmines. So it's not going to be a smooth approach, but that's fine. It will learn. And it's important to realise that it's not just you, it's the same for everyone. So what we'll do is we'll just gradually go 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit pause by all means and just repeat that exercise until you're happy with it. And then we'll take it down the rest of the strings. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is vary that pattern a little bit. We're still going to have the first finger or index finger look after the first fret, middle finger look after the second fret, etc. But we're going to change out the order a little bit. So we're going to next go 1, 3, 2, 4. And again, pause me by all means and just practice that along the E string until you get the hang of it. And then we'll take it across the A, D, G, B, and high E strings. And then when I turn that pattern around, that's going to become 4, 2, 3, 1. And I should say at this point as well, in fact I probably should have said it about 5 minutes ago, it is okay to look at your fingers. It is okay to look at your pick hand. Just because you see me staring at the camera does not mean I expect that from you. When you are starting an instrument, well, let's be honest, when you're starting an instrument, you're going to be rubbish at it. That's fine, and anyone who expects anything different is daft. So we are largely, at least, visual creatures. It makes sense to have your strongest sense helping your weaker senses. So by all means, look before you play the note. Check that your finger is where you want it to be. Check that your pick is where you want it to be, because the chances are, if you don't, they won't be. And playing these exercises wrong is just teaching you bad technique. It's teaching you how to play badly. You really don't want that. You don't want to be playing them as... That's not going to get you very far. So, check each note, Check that your pick is where you want it to be. Check that your fingers are landing on the frets where you want them to be. If they are not, which they probably won't be to begin with, move them until they are. That is you learning. Making a mistake, correcting it. That is you learning. It may not feel like it in the moment, but that is how you learn. Let's check out the last of these patterns. I'm going to go this time 1, 4, 2, 3. And again. Practice that just on the low E string, and then when you're ready, take it across the rest of them. A, D, G, B, and high E. And when we turn that around, that's going to become 3, 2, 4, 1. Again, pause me, practice it just on the one string before taking it back down. Okay, now, I would say play these to a metronome. I wouldn't say do it yet though. I would make sure you can do them without the metronome first. When you can get the notes nice and clean, by all means put the metronome on, and 2, 3, 4. And that's going to help work your timing as well as obviously your fret hand dexterity and your right hand coordination. So the next thing that we're going to do is try and do a little blues riff and just pull all this together. And what I'm going to do here is play this all along the low E string. I'm going to play the open string 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to play the 5th fret with the 3rd finger and the 3rd fret with the index finger or 1st finger. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. And then when we put that to a metronome click, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. And you're looking to get that really nice and repetitive. And once you're happy with that, take it across all the strings, just as we have with all the other exercises. I will just show you one last little bit as I get ready to wind this video up. I'll move this riff onto the A string. 1, 2, 3, and then I add in another note here on the 3rd fret. And then I start to speed things up. And then I might just dial in a little bit of distortion there. So you can see, you're not as far away from playing some of these classic rock riffs as you may have thought at first. Okay, we'll wind things up here. I will see you again very soon for the next one. All the best. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I know it might not look like it, but this is very much a small one-man show of a channel. So every like, every share, every subscribe, hell, every comment is always very welcome. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. All right, take care.